Welcome to Let's Talk Shop with Nate, brought to you by Coolon. Join us as we delve into the IoT world of industrial applications and discover the solutions transforming the industry. Solutions we're proud to bring to life.
G'day team, my name's Nate. You're probably wondering why I'm on your screen, and we're going to find out together. Pretty much, I work for a company called Coolon. You probably figured that out from who you clicked on. But before that, I was in mining. I did a whole bunch of stuff. Learned a lot.
Dug a hole.
I've done many holes. At least 3. Also, dabbled with putting up steel once or twice. And that was a good time too. So I did a bit of rigging. Operated. That was fun. Bobcats, they're like spaceships.
Are they?
Pretty much. You can trust me. Drove a truck like a ute, but not. Way worse. They're not very comfy. Much bigger, much slower. Except downhill, then they're quite fast. And then engineering as well. I did a bit of that too. Learned how to manage a tailings dam. It's like a water dam, except the water's mud and it's not meant to hold water. So nothing like it at all. But I learned how to do it and that was a good time. Went all over the place. I can't say that actually. I've been all over the place, different states, met a whole bunch of people. But during that time, there was another company, you can probably guess from the story, they were poaching me and hunting me, and I was dodging, I was fucking doing one of these. But then they got me, and now I'm here.
I wonder what company that is.
Take a guess. But yeah, that's very brief. So I'm Nate. This is Andrew. Andrew, do you want to give a brief summary?
Sure. I've been with Coolon all my life.
Oh, born there.
I'm one of the original gangsters of Coolon. I know a lot about lighting. Probably too much about lighting. I wish I know a bit more things about other things in life.
I don't know anything about lighting, but we're learning.
Yeah, we realized that we lack the real life experience of mining because we do a lot of work in mining. But we needed someone like Nate who knows how to drive a truck.
You never know when it comes in handy, yeah.
And knows a bit about mud. So as we go deeper in mining, as we travel all around the world and we learn from people like Nate, we actually realize that we would really, really benefit from having someone like Nate on board, telling us what works and what doesn't work for real people like himself. So yeah, that's why it's great to have you, man.
Thank you. It's good to be here. But let's get serious. So yeah. Pretty much, we're doing podcasts, if you can't tell. So, like Andrew said, I've got experience driving trucks. I know what mud does. I'm pretty sure I know what a light can do, but we're going to learn more about it. But because of that, you'll be seeing a lot of me. I want to be asking questions, real questions, basically, on how things should operate and whether they're up to snuff. Gently, of course. So, we'll kick it off as our first one. So, Andrew, I've got some questions for you.
Sure, man.
You ready? I'm ready.
I was born ready.
Oh. Righto. So with Coolon, so again, this isn't my expertise. So you have a lot of products and stuff. Can you go through like the product development history and all that kind of stuff? Basically,
how do we get here?
Yeah, how do we get here? But not only that, how do you know what it is that we would need on site? Do people come up and ask you, or do you, not to say take a stab in the dark, but is it kind of an assumed decision?
Everything was an assumed decision at some stage, but by traveling, by meeting people like yourself, by crawling through the mud with them, side by side, we observe, we listen to them, and they tell us. We bring something, you bring something to the table first, and you say, I have an idea, I think something like that, what do you think? And then they tell us that it's absolute rubbish. I'm trying not to swear. I'm not talking like a miner, but they tell us the real life feedback, and then we listen back to what they're saying and why they're saying that. And then you go and see it for yourself. You get dressed, put on the boots, get dirty, and then you see it for yourself that this was a rubbish idea. But then from that, you learn that this is how it should have been done. So you come back the next time, and you go, how about this? And they go, now you're talking. And then another variation. So it started from one product. And then we grew into 2, 3, 4, 10. We've been doing it for a very long time now. We've been doing it for close to 2 decades of... I'm talking about mining lighting specifically. We have a lot of electronics experience before that. There's multiple decades of experience before that. Our founders are electronics at DNA, you could say, right? So we have electronics in our DNA, we have quality in our DNA, we have Australian made in our DNA. This is the founding team of Coolon. This is what we're all about. And we kind of needed to find an industry where quality, Australian made quality and high quality of design and, you know, high quality of components was really making an impact, making a difference. And because we were in the lighting industry, it's kind of we found a niche that is willing to pay for this, that is willing to understand and appreciate this, and it was mining. So, you know, this is a tough industry. If the product's not made to spec, it just doesn't stand up, right? If you put it up because it was cheap and it doesn't last, then it costs a lot to replace it.
Yeah. Well, you got the whole pay once, cry once philosophy. Like that's something that we did a lot as well, and especially in places I have been, I've seen cheap stuff just die within like minutes.
And how does that make you feel?
Oh, especially if I'm the one that's installed it, and I'm like, hell yeah, this is gonna be cool. And then we, give it some juice, and then it runs. And we're like, oh, wicked. Then I turn around, and you hear a clunk, and it's like, oh no, that's no good. Yeah. So definitely having something like quality is definitely the thing that we want the most. Buy once, cry once. It'd pay itself off.
This is where we would come in, right? We would come in and the original lights would last 6 weeks. They just replaced them. They flew out and then flew back in and they're dead again, right? And they're going, and then they have to replace them again. The work is unscheduled. The permits are not done. They have to do other stuff like everything else was. And then they have to, the operators are complaining again. So they have to do it again and again and again. And then Coolon would come in and say, we can solve this problem. And then first they didn't believe us, but then when we actually solved this problem and proved ourselves, it took us years to do that. So we've proved ourselves, we've made a name on that, and then we grew from that.
But I think even you saying that, like, you understand that it's not as simple as unplugging something and plugging it back in to fix it. There's permits, you've got downtime, justification, all that kind of stuff. And it could be, honestly, for something as simple as a square, like the size of my hand. If something like that size happens, like a hole in a chute, man, it's a mission and a half. So hearing that, I can understand where that relationship can be positively enforced because you do understand.
Absolutely. We lived through this. We viscerally understand.
Yeah.
You could not understand people like you and us, right? Yeah. We understand this in our blood because we suffered through this. Right?
Yeah.
You had to climb through the dirt to replace the damn things again.
Exactly right.
Because they didn't last.
Yeah. Okay, so you're saying that you have units that have lasted years, and you're trying to figure out what the next step forward is. My question for you is, what is Brilliant Connected Lighting, or BCL for those that don't know? And how does that come into play? How did it come to be?
Well, BCL is kind of the latest technology that we've released, Brilliant Connected Lights, right? This is where technology now actually allows us to solve problems of a different nature, right? We can actually address problems. So traditionally we would address problems of lighting, right? The light bulbs don't last very long.
Yeah.
But as we evolved over and over, we managed to fix this over years. And today's products just last, right? So, but what happening with technology, because technology doesn't stand still, it's always evolving. We're now realizing that now it's possible to resolve problems of the next level, which is for mining, it's typically the safety and productivity, amongst others, right? So if you can actually resolve their safety problems and people can stop getting hurt and they don't have as many accidents, they can operate, longer hours and they can operate more profitably. And then they will be able to dig up more stuff, more dirt out of the ground, which naturally, right, that's what the mining companies do. So if we can solve problems of this kind of nature, then this makes our product a lot more valuable to them. So this only happens because we understand our customers. We understand them not just from the lighting perspective, that the light bulbs don't last. We understand what is it that they're trying to do on a daily basis.
Right, so when you say that you're going to a different level, it's not like increased durability or whatever. You're actually kind of like you're shifting the scope of where we are. Like, we've solved your lighting issue, but now we want to help you basically make more money.
Exactly.
safer.
Well, it's like if you went to a doctor, if I went to a doctor, right,
Yeah.
and he said to me, Andrew, you need to lose weight. I was like, that's not new. I knew about that. But if you actually understood what is the problem that I have, right,
Yeah.
that doesn't allow me to achieve my goals, right, then you actually help me step by step.
Yeah.
Now, this is a different value of medical opinion, right, or medical advice.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah,
I actually
yeah.
value it a lot more. So this is what we're trying to do. We understand that the light bulbs are blowing, right? And we fix that.
Mm-hmm.
But we understand that the light bulbs are there to provide visibility into something that is concerning, right?
Yeah.
We actually, we call it now brilliant connected lights. We make the invisible visible, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like a dual pun intended there, because yes, we make the lights that make the invisible visible. At the same time, we make the things that matter to them that are invisible, which is the productivity parameters,
Yeah.
right, or safety parameters, visible. Because like I said before, if you can increase those, this is where the real value gets unlocked.
Yeah.
So ever since we launched this, we're getting a phenomenal response from our customers, purely because we are now helping them do things that really matter to them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So when you're talking about the sensors, I take it it's like it wouldn't be like mission critical things that need a quick response time. It can be something that you can track over a period of time, like what could you like say? I want to track the wear on something. Is that kind of the sensor you're looking at? So I don't need it now, but I do need to use it to kind of predict how something will fail, more for like root cause analysis and all that kind of stuff. Is that kind of where your sensors kind of where the idea was kind of predominantly used, or you were more looking at building a smart mine site?
I'd probably, because where you're going here is probably going to be a question for the future.
Okay.
Now, I don't want to make predictions about the future that are almost impossible.
Yeah,
to
you
make.
got, yeah.
But where I can tell you where we come from, right? We were able to join the lights together into a wireless mesh network because we wanted to do it for our own lighting teams, right? So they were able to tell us how the lights are behaving. We're able to analyze all of this. We're able to control the lights. We're able to change colors and turn them on and off. We're able to monitor them from the inside. This was important for us.
Yeah.
But once we realize that we can do this, we actually see that there's a lot of value behind that network itself, right? And that value lies, like I said, in all the sensing.
Yeah.
But the sensing, we don't want to redefine what we do and what we are. So what we've done is we outsourced it to everyone else who specializes in this. We are bolting on people who specialize in sensing. We're teaching our lights to interface those sensors.
Yeah.
So we become the super highway of information, if you will, for all of these other providers of valuable data for mining.
I see. So yeah, that for me anyway. That's the making the invisible visible.
Exactly.
Like, I can imagine there would be someone out there that would have something that would fit. Like, perfect scenario is like, I need to check bin line aware. Then you got to shut it down and have a look and all that stuff. I'm sure there's someone out there that will have a sensor that can just tell you it. But
Exactly.
yeah.
And these are what we call ecosystem partners, and they're going to be on your podcast.
Get ready. I might have something for you. Nah. Yeah, so just going off that, I do remember the first time I heard of all of this. I didn't get it. Like, I understood it, but I didn't see it, if that makes sense. Because again, if I couldn't see it in the first place, was it really that important? But now by learning more about it, even running my own tests on the gear that we have and what we can do, can't do, and all that kind of stuff, it's clicked in my mind that it's like, man, there was a lot of things that if I just had a small sensor that I didn't have to keep going up to and viewing, I didn't have to check on all this kind of stuff. It would have made my job, and would have made a lot of things far more easier. Even just with like predicting on when something could happen or may not happen, or seeing how something's traveling in real time that we don't normally have visibility on. I can see how that. I understand it a lot more now.
See, at Coolon, we have a history of doing stuff differently, right?
Yeah.
And quite often when we speak, people say, "Oh, that's cool," and I'm like, "Coolon," right?
Yeah.
Actually, I've seen our salespeople do that too. But we do things differently, right? And mostly people don't understand it at first, because when you first interact with the concept, you're applying your standard mind frame. And because we do things differently, it's really hard. Like when people hear about BCL, I could speak about BCL for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And if I don't speak in a particular way, they apply a frame of lights being connected for the sake of lighting, and they don't get it. Right? They're not going to get it until they actually, you need to break that frame a little bit and kind of unlock the possibilities. Just like when the first smartphone came out, most people saw it for a phone, right? If you look at it today, it is anything but the phone, right?
It's pretty much anything that you want it to be.
Million things that have nothing to do with the phone. But if you apply the standard thing, then it would be a smartphone.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing here. What we are unlocking here is we're saying that lighting can be so much more than lights. Lights provide value, but their value is very capped and very limited. Whereas the value that we can unlock with this technology, and it's not even our technology, the value that we can unlock with the help of ecosystem partners, right, that are running on the technology, is so much more dramatic. And that's why that value is, should I say, a lot more valuable.
Value that's valuable. I think that's pretty good. Well, I guess there's only really one question I've got left. And I understand that through the history, we're a lighting company. We started with lighting company. We did lights and stuff. But then we're also a tech company. So why did we choose lights to be the backbone of our mesh network? Why couldn't it have been another piece of equipment?
I mean, because that's what we did. So we were we started from being a lighting company, and we're now drifting into domains of other things, but we're still inherently a lighting company. Yeah. So we're not Cisco, right? We're not trying to dominate the networking space. That's not the point. The point is that we've unlocked how our product, a product that we have competence in, right? We've built years and years of competence through this blood, sweat, and tears. Yeah. And we've unlocked how to take that competence and build out of that, something that really makes a difference elsewhere. Yeah. And that elsewhere is higher level and it's a lot broader.
Plus, lights are everywhere, I guess. So
exactly. There's thousands and thousands of lights. And like if you needed to install networking on site, there's thousands of options. Yeah. But the problem is that these are the options that you have to introduce on top of site that were not there in the first place. Whereas lights are there. Lights are everywhere. Every building and every location has thousands of lights. So what if I told you that you could just replace some of your lights or all of your lights? It's up to you. Yeah. Right. And you will achieve a network that will give you all the value all the things that you really value. God, we're using the word value a lot. We're getting the value out of the word value. Yeah, so what if you could achieve all these things that really matter to you by simply replacing lights? And it really stops people in their tracks because they don't anticipate that from lights.
But I think once you understand the idea of it is you can get all this benefit, but you're not having to think about it, if that makes sense. It's there. It's there everywhere. You just change a couple of things here and there, and then you've got, all this invisible data you didn't know you needed or wanted. And
didn't know it was possible. Actually, most of the time, they do know that they need it and they want it. The problem is they don't know that a lot of these things are possible. Actually, if you look through a lot of the ecosystem partner offerings, like these things, they're not creating anything new. Like the lubrication companies didn't create lubrication process. It's been there before. The tool companies didn't create any new tools. They're simply creating next level technology. They're using technology to enable the next level of possibilities that were not even possible before. Like, they often say that sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, right? Imagine if I went back 30 years in time and said, well, I could magically tell you where your drill is. It would just blow people away. How can you tell where?
Well, you could go back to when I first started and you showed me that and I was like, no way.
Well, what if I told you that this motor would lubricate itself? They're like, what are you talking about? So this is what technology creates, and what we're doing is we're just enabling this. We're bringing technology pieces that are out there, that are sufficiently advanced, and the industry doesn't use, and we make them very easy to deploy. That is usually the thing that holds back the deployment, is that it's really costly and very hard to justify. But what if I told you that if you had Coolon as your lighting backbone, right, already on your site, then any of these things that come up on the market, just plug it in,
do it,
and it's connected. That makes it a lot more valuable.
Yeah, and it is really that simple. Like, you just, once you have it, you've got it, and once you want something, well, it's there. You can almost treat it like going for groceries. It's like, oh, I want to try that sensor. Yeah, we can do that.
Imagine if there were no grocery stores and you had to go get beetroot from the beetroot farm and milk from the milk guy.
How hard.
The shopping would have been a very different experience. Yeah, we're going to be the supermarket of the industrial world. That's it. Change your business strategy.
Yeah, we're no longer a line of company.
We're a supermarket company.
Woolies, we're coming to you. No, we're not. Well, I think you've heard enough of us ramble on. And is there anything else you'd like to add?
I think I wanted to personally use this opportunity to welcome you on board, man. I think this is amazing to have you. Your experience is very humble. Now, when he's saying that he's got very little experience, he's got a lot of experience. We've seen this guy running plants. And when we're digging for his opinions, we actually hear a lot of things that we can't see on the back end. So it's very valuable to have you on board. On top of that, he's a great host and a great with technology as well. Actually, one of the reasons why we hunted you, because you were great on the tech side. You were integrating all these things together. You know, you were one of those customers that is tinkering, right?
Yeah,
we call them tinkerers, or sometimes we call them pioneers. You were one of them.
Oh, that's awesome. I've heard it.
And this is exactly what makes you, because, you know, a lot of our customers are not like that. We're dealing with people from different walks of life, different ages, different generations, different appetite types, different risk types. There's different profiles of people, and they're all differently valuable to us. But you're the ideal customer that is, you know, proactive, technology savvy, you know, and now you're hosting a podcast where you're bringing all of these ecosystem partners. I think
I do that now.
This is going to be hugely valuable, because it's really hard. What we found is it's really hard to bring across. Each supplier has their own story, and each partner has their own advantage and their own sales pitch and their own industry with their own challenges. So if you're going in front of the customer and you're trying to explain, and you just spend 30 minutes talking about lighting and blew them away, and now you're going to talk about lubrication, that's going to take another 30 minutes. And then you're going to talk about tool finding, that's going to take another 30 minutes. So like, you can't talk forever. But having you on board and you hosting these podcasts is an amazing way of bringing this across. So, man, great having you.
Thank you.
This is going to be awesome.
I want to try to make it awesome. But on that note, actually, on the experience part, if you're watching this and you know me, just, let's keep it humble. I don't, please. But on that note, we'll see you on the next one. Hooroo.
You won't see me on the next one.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be
maybe
him.
Not. Just me.
See you.